Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're going to be taking a quick overview of the new Tides of War content, what I think about the new Rush mode, but first, there's been some new leaked info about Firestorm. We actually got a tutorial video showing off in-game video footage. There was a tweet about it as well. Let's check out the tutorial video and then we'll get into the latest Tides of War content.
Firestorm. Fight for your life in Firestorm, a royale game mode playable in solo, duo, or with a squad. You will begin each game by parachuting into the vast open world. Pick your landing spot carefully. Landmarks can be rich in loot, but also full of danger. Objectives and saves are scattered throughout the map. Acquiring them gives you access to reinforcements, rare loot, and epic combat vehicles. Vehicles can turn the tide of an engagement and carry you great distances, but they can also reveal your location and be countered with anti-vehicle weaponry and gadgets. When you find a weapon, be aware of its rarity. A common gun is a good starting point, but an epic has advantages like scope, extended magazine, and reduced recoil. Each weapon class uses its own ammunition time. You can only carry a limited amount, so manage your inventory wisely and share your loot amongst your squad. Backpacks found throughout the map can expand your inventory capacity, allowing you to carry more weapons, gadgets, and armor. Firestorm is an even playing field, and there are no class-specific benefits. If you're downed, you can still fire a sidearm and be revived by allies, but once you bleed out or are finished off, you are out of the game. There are no second chances in Firestorm. Scavenge. Fight. Survive.
All right, so we got a bit of a gameplay glimpse there. Also, the video released on Twitter shows off a character model with a beard. So maybe we got facial hair and beards and stuff coming to either that game mode or multiplayer overall. For the most part, all this information came out with yesterday's leak. The one thing that they did clarify, though, is that the classes don't seem to have any sort of specific properties. So unlike Apex, there will be no individual classes that give you different gameplay styles. I guess it'll mostly just be for visual styling when you join a game. So other than that, you will just have to scavenge and scrounge up gadgets and gear like anyone else. One interesting thing, though, is that it does look like there might actually be a Ju-52 in the trailer, which is that missing German paratrooper plane that we haven't had in the base game. So there's a good chance that they've created this asset and are probably working on the internals and animation system for the base game. We also got our first look at the helicopter, which is called the Flettner in real life. And this is actually the second time this specific helicopter has been in a Battlefield game. Battlefield 1942 had a secret weapons expansion, and the Flettner, along with, I believe, rocket pods, if I remember correctly, was in that game as the Battlefield's first helicopter. So not the first time seeing this helicopter in a World War II themed Battlefield game. Just a cool little bit of history there. All right, let's get into the new Tides of War content. The reward at the end of this week is a new Mosquito Mark 6, which is supposed to have a good anti-tank cannon on there, but you have to get the Mosquito to, I think, rank 2 before you can unlock the cannon and test it out. And since you can't pick sides when joining a server, you have to get lucky enough to be both on the British side, get a Mosquito, and get in a favorable combat position to start ranking it up. So hopefully I can have a video on that at some point in the future, but I have no idea exactly when. The progression tree for it does look pretty promising, though, and it's got a 4,000-pound bomb, which is bigger than the 1,000 kilogram bomb. It's about double the size of it. So that is technically the biggest bomb in the game. Going down the other side of the progression tree, you can get dumbfire rockets, you can get better machine guns, you can get a ground radar package instead of the air radar, and you can get 2 500-pound bombs. So both sides of the progression tree actually look quite nasty. This is definitely an air-to-ground setup vehicle. Now, to unlock the Mosquito, a lot of the progression tree for the Tides of War content this week revolves around the Rush game mode. And although we have played Rush in Eros, where it was just released as part of the Grand Operations, the Hanut Grand Operation, this is the first time that I believe we're getting the 32-player variant of Rush. It's only available on 3 maps right now: Devastation, Narvik, and then Twisted Steel. So not a huge rollout of the Rush game mode, and it's a limited time game mode as well. I have to say, personally, I'm not impressed with it. I don't think I had a single game of it that I was like, that was a good game of Battlefield 5, or walked away from it really satisfied with the whole experience. Almost every single round I played was a steamroll in one way or the other. Either we defended too strongly, the enemy team wasn't able to move past a single set of objectives, or we were attacking so strongly that the enemy team just couldn't defend at all, and we just made it all the way to the end of the map without much of a fight. Now, if you're not a fan of Rush, they did add 2 new squad score streaks. There is the Artillery Strike and the Smoke Barrage. The Artillery Strike's pretty cool looking. It's about 17,000 squad score. I'm curious to see how this plays out on other game modes like Breakthrough, where infantry can be even more clumped together. You can get points faster. There's a lot more players and squads. It could become a little bit too spam-tastic, so we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. The Smoke Barrage is also kind of cool. I imagine that will be more interesting on Breakthrough game modes, or modes where players are not quite as religiously going for the V1, although I know people like their V1 kill streak, so we'll see if these score streaks can compete with the V1 overall. Are we going to see tons of them, or are people just going to be going for the V1s? Now, next week, we're getting a Ju-88 bomber with a cannon on it. I imagine that cannon will also need to be unlocked through the progression tree, so it will not be instantly reviewable. Hopefully, I can do some gameplay and talk about the new plane cannon by the time the next Tides of War is out. Getting back to Rush here, though, you can really see from my gameplay just how camp-tastic this mode is. And I think it's a combination of slightly bad map design, poor visibility, and not really understanding how those two things come together to really affect a smaller form game mode. The medium machine gun prone tactic is so powerful in Battlefield and does not require a high level of skill to achieve lots of kills and a lot of annoying gameplay behavior that on smaller format game modes it becomes annoying because your enemy doesn't have a lot of teammates to back them up when they get shot down in an obvious situation. Like in the bigger format game modes, medium machine guns can still be quite annoying, but you more often than not have like a sniper or a friendly nearby with a good long range or precision weapon that can take out the medium machine gunner quickly once they see where you go down from. In smaller format game modes like 32-player Rush, it's less of a chance, and you can just post up and mow down half the team, and by the time they figure out where you are, you can usually just get up and find a different spot. The other issue with 32 players, as you can see on Twisted Steel here, is that vehicles are extremely powerful in a 32-player game mode. You only have 16 players on the opposite team that can take you out, and if you're a smart or halfway decent vehicle player, you can obliterate smaller teams. Yeah, a well-placed assault player or a couple of them can take you out if they sneak up on you, but it's hard in a linear format, small player count game mode. I went absolutely flawless in this round on Twisted Steel, and I wasn't even trying hard. I was like sipping coffee, taking breaks, you know, like it was easy peasy with the light tank over here, and that's concerning because vehicle balance has never been good in Battlefield 5. It's still not good in Battlefield 5, and it's exacerbated on smaller format game modes. So in my opinion, it really doesn't work well on the Twisted Steel map. I don't know if DICE can allow players to have vehicles on some of these smaller format game modes, or they'll have to do something like in Battlefield 1 where they restricted what type of tanks or vehicles you could use, where you had to use the land ship, which wasn't really that overpowered of a vehicle on certain maps. You know, that would be kind of interesting if they restricted your vehicle usage to a certain type of vehicle to maybe reduce their overall effectiveness. I don't know. There's some tools at DICE's disposal here, but I gotta say overall I'm very underwhelmed with Rush. I think it again feels a little bit rushed, as indicated by the fact that it's only on 3 maps, so that gets pretty old pretty quickly. And 2, it just doesn't feel particularly well balanced. A lot of the defensive points seem way too campy, way too overpowered. Momentum is not well balanced. Teams, once they get momentum, they feel kind of unstoppable. It just seems like there could have been a lot more time that had gone into it. And ultimately, a lot of Battlefield 5's underlying mechanics like visibility, poor intel, vehicles being overpowered in small game modes, really just makes smaller format Rush a very difficult mode to play and enjoy. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's video and Tides of War overview. I'll be hopefully getting a Mosquito video out at some time in the future. Who knows when I'll be able to rank it up enough to really take advantage of its more powerful abilities, but we'll be looking at that, an Archer tank review in the works and all that kind of stuff to look forward to. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing out.